Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Middle Guy back again. And today I want to talk about the NATO chief praising Trump for getting peace talks in the Ukraine-Russia conflict, war, whatever you want to call it. According to the left and the Democrats, I thought this was impossible. I mean, Biden and Camel Toe could never do it, so how could Trump possibly do it? No one respects Trump. All the other countries hate him, and they don't respect the U.S. anymore because he's the president. And they look at him as weak and blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. He's right about everything. Look at what he's done in less than 2 months in fucking office, you idiots. But let's get into this video here from the MAGA king himself, President Trump, in the White House today, where he hosted what? NATO Secretary General.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be with a friend of mine who was Prime Minister of the Netherlands. I got to know him very well. We had a great relationship always. Mark Rutte. Now he's Secretary General of NATO and doing a fantastic job. Everybody, every report I've gotten is what a great job he did, and I'm not at all surprised when I hear it. We had to support him, and we supported him as soon as I heard the name. But he was a fantastic prime minister, and he's doing a fantastic job. An even tougher job. Which is tougher, being the prime minister of Netherlands, or
this job is quite tough.
I would think this is.
Dutch politics is also brutal. So
yeah, this is pretty tough. But you're doing good. We're going to be discussing a lot of things. Obviously, we'll be discussing what's happening with respect to Ukraine and Russia. At this moment, we have people talking in Russia. We have representatives over there, Steve Witkoff and others. And they're in very...
It's so weird. He's over talking to Putin and the Russians. That's crazy. Why couldn't Biden and Kamala do that? That's so weird. That's so weird. Because if Putin owned Trump, why wouldn't he just be overrunning Ukraine right now? That's so crazy. I want to see how the left spins this now.
Serious discussions. As you know, Ukraine has agreed, subject to this, what's happening today, to a complete ceasefire, and we hope Russia will do the same. Thousands of people are being killed, young people, usually, mostly young people. We were just talking about it. Thousands of young people are being killed a week. And
it's disgusting. We have to end this shit. And Ukraine, again, is using conscription, where they're basically kidnapping men and putting them in the military and making them go to war and fight. And that's just disgusting. This shit needs to stop. Should have never started, honestly, but Biden was weak, so Putin invaded.
See that stop, and they're not Americans, and they're not from the Netherlands for the most part.
No.
They're from Russia, and they're from Ukraine, but they're people, and I think everybody feels the same way. We want it to stop.
Now, when did you ever hear Biden say anything remotely close to this? But somehow Biden cared and loved everybody, and Trump doesn't care about anyone. But here he is saying how he wants the deaths of these people to stop. He doesn't care what side they're on. He just wants people to stop dying. And that's somehow a bad thing.
It's also a tremendous cost to the United States and to other countries. And it's something that would have never happened if I were president, and it makes me very angry to see that it did happen. But it happened, and we have to stop it.
Because Biden is a moron.
And Mark has done some really good work over the last week. We've been working together, and he's done some really good work, so I'm very happy about that. We'll also be talking...
It's weird, Trump is working with NATO, but I thought NATO hated America and that we were destroying Europe and empowering Russia. It's so weird. Every single Democrat narrative about this situation between Russia and Ukraine has been completely and 100% false. So they're either lying or they're just stupider than we think they are.
Talking about trade and various other things, and I think we'll have a very, very strong day. We're going to have lunch afterwards. That'll go, and then we'll see you all later. But Mark, would you like to say something?
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much, Mr. President, dear Donald, again for hosting me, and but also for taking time in Florida a couple of weeks after you were re-elected.
That's right.
And of course, our phone call a couple of weeks ago, and I must say, Trump 45, you originated the fact that in Europe we are now spending, when you take it to aggregate, 700 billion more on defense than when you came in office in 2016, 2017. But that was Trump.
Wow. So crazy. When Trump called out all the other NATO countries for not paying their fair share, their revenue increased exponentially. That's so weird.
45. But then when you look at Trump 47,
It's going to be hard to tell.
what happened the last couple of weeks is really staggering. The Europeans committing to a package of 800 billion defense spending. The Germans now, potentially up to $500 billion extra in defense spending. And then, of course, you had Keir Starmer here, the British Prime Minister, and others, all committing to much higher defense spending. We're not there. We need to do more. But I really want to work together with you in a run-up to the The Hague Summit to make sure that we will have a NATO which is really reinvigorated under your leadership. And we are getting there. We also discuss defense production because we need to produce more weaponry. We are not doing enough. Not in the US, not in Europe, and we are lacking behind when you compare to the Russians and the Chinese.
Wow, it's weird. It's the same thing that Trump's been saying. That's so crazy. But I thought Trump was lying and just making this up. But then the NATO Secretary General here is completely backing up everything he said. So weird.
And you have a huge defense industrial base. Europeans buying 4 times more here than the other way around, which is good because you have a strong defense industry. But we need to do more there to make sure that we ramp up the production and kill the red tape. So I would love to work with you on that. And finally, Ukraine. You broke the deadlock. As you said, all the killing, the young people dying, cities getting destroyed. The fact that you did that you started the dialogue with the Russians, and the successful talks in Saudi Arabia now with the Ukrainians. I really want to commend you for this. So, well.
Wow, he wants to commend him for getting peace talks and stopping killing in Ukraine and Russia. But if he was a Russian asset, why would he try to be stopping anything? And if he was taking Russia's side, again, why would he try to be stopping anything? Why would he be having peace talks right now in Russia? That's so crazy. It's like the left just completely are lying about the whole Russia thing like they have been for the past 12 years. It's crazy. Or sorry, excuse me, not 12, 9 years.
The Hague is my hometown. I love to host you there in the summer.
It'll be 12 years at the end of his presidency, and they'll still be pushing this Russia bullshit. Watch.
And work together to make sure that that will be a splash, a real success, projecting American power on the world stage.
Wow, American power on the world stage. Who would have thought that that would be the best thing possible, to have a strong United States? That's so crazy.
What Mark is saying is when I first went to NATO, my first meeting, I noticed that very few people were paying. And if they were, they weren't paying their fair share. There were only 7.
Remember when he said that and everybody said, oh my God, he's trying to break up NATO and trying to move us from NATO and this is so unfair to all those other countries? Yeah, no, it's not unfair to pay your own fucking fair share. You leftists all the time are screaming for people to pay their fair share of taxes. So why shouldn't countries have to pay their fair share into NATO if they get the defense from NATO? I don't understand. They're benefiting from it. Why shouldn't they pay into it? It's not a welfare system.
Countries that were paying what they were supposed to be paying, which was,
It's even worse.
Could be even worse. But
Yeah,
there were just very
probably
few
was
countries
worse.
that were paying, and even the paying, it was at 2%, which is too low. It should be higher. It should be quite a bit
All these other countries are paying 2%, while we're paying 5%, with the GDP probably 10 times bigger than theirs.
higher. But you had Poland, and I remember Poland was actually paying a little bit more than they were supposed to, which I was very impressed with. They've been actually terrific, and some of the others, but most of them weren't paying, or they were paying very little.
Of course.
And I didn't think it was
Because before that, United States presidents were weak and they didn't call them out and make them pay more.
appropriate to bring it up there, but I said it's going to be brought up at my next meeting. And my next meeting, the first meeting, I want to give them a little break. The second meeting,
Drop the
it began,
hammer.
and I was able to raise
did.
hundreds of billions of dollars. I just said, we're not going to be involved with you if you're not going to pay.
Exactly.
And the money started pouring in, and NATO
Crazy.
became much stronger because of my action.
So crazy. So crazy. He was right about that. And more money ended up coming in when he called them out. That's so weird.
And working along with a lot of people, including Mark, but they would not pay for other presidents, and I don't think other presidents even knew that they weren't paying.
Other presidents didn't give a shit. Let's be honest, President Trump. Other presidents didn't give a shit.
And I asked first question, has everybody paid up? And literally, I mean, they told me 7. You could be right, it could be 3, but that makes it even worse. But they just weren't paying. And I said, no, I won't protect if you're not paying.
Exactly.
If you're delinquent or
There's no free rides, my friends.
if the money isn't paid, why would we do that? And as soon as I said that,
And all the left attacked Trump and was like, oh my God, he's threatening us. Our national security is threatened. All these other countries, oh my God, ah! And look what happened. He got all of them to pay what they fucking owe.
get a little hit from the press because they said, oh, gee, that's not very nice. But if you said the other, nobody would have paid.
Nobody cares about the press. They're a bunch of fucking idiots, as we've seen.
And the money started coming in by the billions. And, hundreds of billions of dollars flowed into NATO, and NATO became strong.
Yep.
And you remember that. Your predecessor,
Thank Trump, everybody, because that's what he
who I
did.
thought was a very good man.
Absolutely.
Actually.
Yeah, Stoltenberg. He sends his press
Yeah,
greetings.
he was
Yeah.
terrific. Stoltenberg, Secretary General,
Great
and
man.
he made the statement that when Trump came in, the money started coming in like we never saw before. Hundreds of billions, actually, probably close to $600 billion came in, and NATO became strong from that standpoint. And now we have to use it wisely.
Thanks to
and
President
we have
Trump.
to get this war over with, and you'll be back to a normal, much more normal life.
Is this the end of learning?
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why it's a problem when he called out the NATO countries for not paying their fair share and saying, I'm not going to protect you if you don't pay. Why should the U.S. have to fund this shit? And then on top of it, provide the protection for these people. You need to pay. It's as simple as that. Pay your fair share. Why are Democrats so against paying their fair share when it comes to other countries, but they want to rail on people here in this country that are successful and wealthy, and they want to take everything they've ever made? So this is great. This is another huge win for Trump, and it just shows you the competency and the strength that he exudes as a real leader should. This is real leadership. What we had under Biden was a goddamn joke. This is a real leader and probably the greatest president of my lifetime, for sure. I can't think of anybody who's better except maybe Reagan. But Trump is amazing. He's doing everything he said he was going to do at a rapid pace. He's getting things done that the last administration said were fucking impossible without legislation and spending more money and all this shit. Oh yeah, and he's cutting spending too. So I want to see how the liberal idiots try to spin this and make warp this into, oh, Trump's a Russian agent, or Trump's ruining this, or Trump's doing blah, blah, blah. Just shut the fuck up. Nobody cares what you and your shit ass party have to say anymore. That's why your approval rating is fucking underwater, and it's gonna be. Okay. Everybody, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. Give me a follow on X at MiddleGuy7, and then I'll see all y'all soon. God bless. Everyone take care. Thank you.